I want to thank you first of all, and I hope all of you have done your pre work. All the participants, thank you all also for attending and taking time out from your day. I'll just say three or four points about Dr. Barve for those of you who haven't done your homework. Okay, he's actually conducted more than 100 plus webinars to people from all walks of life, doctors,
Mostly study kolla.
psychiatrists, medical students,
NDLM.
farmers. Okay, so he has conducted these webinars and he has given many lectures and seminars in India and abroad. And he has written 25 plus books on mental health awareness. And he has been running a clinic called Parivartan or the Turning Point for more than 40 years in Bombay. He's also won lots of awards at the national level. What is most relevant for us right now, probably, is that he is also a mindfulness teacher, and his name in his tradition is Sugat Acharya, and he's from the Sri Lanka Pagoda Meditation Center. And in this session, he will teach us about the practice of being at home within ourselves during the lockdown, and rather than just speak about it, because speaking about it and hearing it is not the same as really experiencing it, Dr. Barve will actually conduct an experiential session. So, with that, over to Dr. Barve.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really nice to meet all of you, Deepa. Revati, it was nice to meet you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's very nice to be with all of you, and it's so nice to be in touch with people across the country from small towns, as you said, because they are the ones who have so much of real touch with people, and the sons of the soil and the daughters of the soil, and they're the real people who make India, not the city dwellers, because they are more rooted in the community, and so glad that I've been able to reach out to them. Like all the webinars which I conduct, my first thing that I do is I pay homage to all the people who have worked so hard in these COVID times. The fraternity, my medical doctors, people who are health workers, frontline workers, policemen who are working on the streets, even the people who are trying to sell vegetables and everything on the streets, and they're finding it very difficult to carry on with the life, the migrant workers and whatnot, and people have died, and just so that we can sit here and talk. So they're exactly like warriors, and it's a really front on which they're fighting. And I reminded of the song by Lata Didi, where she sang in 1962-63, Jara Yaad Karo Kurbani, Jara Yaad Karo Kurbani, Jo Shaheed Hue, Unki Yaad Karo Kurbani. And this is a very important thing. This is experiential learning, because when we remember and when we recall and pay homage and pay respect to people who have worked hard for us, we immediately become grateful. And gratefulness and gratitude is a great experience of life. Because when I am grateful, first thing that happens to me is that I say thank you because you have given me so much. So when I say you have given me, I already have it. So when I talk about gratefulness, I talk about my strengths. And when I talk about my strengths, I know that I have enough power to fight situations. When I'm grateful, my first duty is to pass on the great message of being empowered to people. So this is not just to pay respect to people, but also strengthening and empowering experience. So just remember that we owe all of to them, and since we owe it to them, we also must be in a position where people feel grateful about us. With the kind of work that we are doing, doctors are doing, you are doing, everyone is doing, because we are out in touch with people. So this is the story that I would like to start off, because this will stay back with you. This is all what I request all of you to say when you meet people that I'm grateful to you. I'm thankful to you that you're there with me. We're breathing together. So this may be sound very, very metaphysical, very existential, but that's the truth. That's a fact of life. So when I want to start, I want to start with I think the story time, because story time is the best time in our childhood. So this is a story of a samurai. You know, samurais are the sword fighters in Japan, and they call it the martial art. So it's an art of self-defense. So even defending oneself can be an experience of art, can be experience of skill. So this samurai went to a Zen master, and Zen said, I want to learn so much about life. Will you please teach me? And the Zen master said, of course, I'll teach you. But come and stay in my ashram. So the ashram is quite far away from the town. And it's a very beautiful place with trees and rivulets and nice place to be with. So he's appointed a cottage, he goes and stays there and he waits for the Guru to come and teach him or have a session with the Guru. But the Guru never comes to him, he never even looks at him. Everybody seems to be doing their own work and the samurai is waiting, never getting anything out of it. So he waits for a long time and finally he says that enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. I will go and say goodbye to my teacher because I feel very cheated. So he goes to the Guru's cottage and puts down his bag and said, look here, I've come here with great expectations, but nothing has happened. Nobody has taught me. And I'm going, but before I go, I want to ask you a question. Now, the samurai had this question in his mind for a very long time because he had met all kinds of people. He had never met anyone who has been to heaven or hell. ना उन्होंने कभी जहन्नम देखा है, ना कहीं हेवन देखी. तो ऐसे किसी आदमी से उनका परिचय नहीं हुआ. So he said, tell me, Guru, what is the difference between heaven and hell? And the Guru looked at him and laughed out very loudly. And the samurai was so angry, so upset that, look, I'm asking a question to Guru after waiting such a long time, and here is the answer. He laughs at me. So he just pulls out his sword and marches towards the Guru. And the Guru looks into his eyes and says, wait, I'm answering your question. He looks into the eyes which are full of anger, the sword which he's holding, has so much of power. The Guru says that you asked me a question, what is the difference between heaven and hell? Right now you're in hell. And the samurai is stunned by this answer. The sword falls down from his hand and he sits down. And without realizing, he closes his eyes and he's breathing, focused on the breathing. And the Guru comes very close to him and pats his head and back and says, your answer was incomplete, my dear friend. If then you were in hell, right now you're in heaven. And the samurai wakes up, opens his eyes. The eyes are full of tears of gratefulness. He touches the Guru's feet and says, what kind of experience is this? What is this that is happening to me now? I've been a fighter. I'm a skilled sportsman. But what is this? The Guru looks into his eyes and says, my dear, you have read all your scriptures. Every scripture says that heaven and hell are not places where dead people go. Heaven and hell are places where people live. And where is it? It's there in your mind. You created hell. You created heaven for yourself. You just empowered the hell or heaven. You just kindled it. The samurai is again surprised by this answer. And then he says, what do you call this experience? He says, this is known as awareness. Your awareness of your being, your awareness of being present with this state of mind, that now you're aware that this is hell which I created, this is heaven which I created. This is your moment of truth. This is your moment of awakening. This is your empower moment, because now you're aware. The samurai is very thankful And he's going, but the Guru says, stop, I have not completed my answer. It's not only that you are aware, but my dear friend, you are aware that you are aware. Samurai is again stunned by the answer. He said, what do you mean? He said, look, it's only human brain which has capacity to know that it knows. It knows that it doesn't know. And those who don't know that they don't know are just simple animal brains. They can only feel the emotions. They are incapable of knowledge. Knowledge, not of the world, but knowledge of the self. And if you don't know yourself, what's happening to you? You're almost dead. You have killed yourself. If the Zen Guru had read the Upanishad, the Duk Upanishad, he would have said, Avidya doshena atmanaha tiraskarana. Avidya doshena atmanaha tiraskarana. Atmahani ityuchyate. If you don't know avidya, if you don't know, if you're ignorant fool and you hate yourself, you have killed yourself. It's atmahani ityuchyate. It's like committing suicide, that you have denied self-knowledge. You have awareness of awareness. And that is something which is very unique to human brain. That is something unique to you and to all the human race. And as a samurai, you are a teacher. Isn't it that you teach your art to people? And now as a teacher, you have responsibility of not just teaching, and I think there are many teachers around. You have responsibility not only to teach, you have responsibility to awaken the students. Awaken the students for the capacity to learn, for capacity to learn, relearn, and even unlearn. It's not that you have learned something new today, but you have unlearned something. Your eyes were not open. You have unlearned. You unlearned to give up pride. And now you are awakened soul. And the samurai was very happy when he left the place. And as he was leaving, he looked around. And again, one new awakening came. As he looked around, it's a story from Japan. As he looked around, there was cold wind everywhere. And he looked around, it was biting wind. He looked at the trees and he found that all the trees had shed their leaves. He said, this is wonderful. When it is very, very cold, the trees cannot handle so many leaves. They just fall. They just go away. They give up those leaves so that they can survive. And they have a very simple life then, because they know that one day it is going to change. They also know that the change is coming and they have to be ready for that change. Before it is winter, there is a fall of leaves. I wish we had learned that lesson from the trees, from nature, that the second wave was coming. I wish we were more awakened. I wish we were more aware of what was happening in our own community. But we don't open our eyes. We are not awakened. We are not aware that we are aware. And that is very, very important. One more line in this samurai story. Samurai goes back to the teacher and says, wow, what a great experience, sir. Then he says, now that I'm empowered, can I ask you one more question? And the Guru says, please go ahead. And the samurai says, why did you not teach me on the very first day that I came here? So the Guru laughs again, but the samurai is not angry now. He laughs and the Guru says, but you never asked a question. If you don't ask the question, you will learn nothing in life. Only when you are participating in the process of gathering knowledge that you can awaken yourself. It's a participation that matters. And my friends, we've started the process of participation when I sent the first very short movie of the samurai, where he sits down and tries to concentrate. We'll talk about it a little later. But you have already started participating. I hope there is a lot of curiosity in your mind about what the movie is all about. What does it? Absolutely, there is no word used in that 3-minute film. But it says so much. It says volumes about life. But before we do that, let me try and ask you to participate in one more action. And that we would like to make it this awakening, this awareness, a moment of doing it yourself. And it's not difficult at all. It's not difficult at all. And that's the first lesson. That's the first lesson that we're going to teach. That's the first lesson that you will learn. I'm just creating an experience. The first lesson. We'll do it. So I would like to ask you, wherever you're sitting, just sit wherever you are. Sit erect with your spine, your vertebral column following a natural curvature. Your shoulders are pulled back a little and they're down. Chin is slightly down, and your feet firmly on the ground. If you're sitting on the floor, nothing like it. If you can sit in Sukhasana, Padmasana, or Vajrasana, best, or Ardha Padmasana, anything will do. Or your bones are not ready for bending, your joints are not willing to bend, then you can sit on a chair, but wherever you're sitting, sit firmly. Because this point of contact of your body with the surface is very important. Because that's where you'll have real sense of your body. So feet firmly on the ground, let your soles of your feet feel the ground. It may be soft, it may be hard, it may be floor, it may be a carpet, it could be anything. Feel the ground, the soles of your feet. You're wearing shoes, chappals, take them off and feel the ground firmly under your feet. And your hands can be on your thighs, whether facing up or down, whichever. And then you will learn to focus on your breath. Now, why focus on the breath? Because breath is the most natural rhythm in the body. The heart also beats very rhythmically, but we are not so much aware because it's quite fast. And at the 1/3 rate, you are breathing about, say, 20 to 25 times. Well, the heart beats at about 70, 72. So we can't follow the heart. We can follow the breath. And the breath is the first real experience of life. Even when we are in a womb, we experience the breath, not our own, because we are in the most beautiful place in the world, safest place in the world is the mother's. But the uterus that carries you experience the breath of your mother. And that breath creates the first impression of life, of vibration. So that vibration is very important. And you want to create vibration, be aware of the vibration. So what do? Just sit wherever you are. Now I'm going to use, just give me a second. I'm going to use a singing bowl. I'm going to use the singing bowl, as you can see. This gift from Japan, land of samurais. Now this gong, when I play this, you will hear the ring, and it will trail. Just focus on the trailing sound, the trailing vibrations. We are going to use it 3 times. First time, it will help you to come to this point, to be here and now, this moment. Your mind may be wandering. We'll talk about this wandering mind. Mind may be wandering, thinking of so many things. What do we do after this? What have I done? What did I forget to do? You make a phone call. You have to see a WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah. Just let it wander. मन है चंचल है भटकता रहेगा भटकने दो उसको. We are here only to focus. So come back. So be here in this body, like be at home. This is where it is. This is where it is going to happen, not outside, inside. So being at home, come back. So the ring tells you to come home. The second ring says, breath is here. You have touched everything, you have come back. Sparshan krutva bahir bahyan chakshuh chate antare bhuvoh. Pranapanav samo krutva nasabhyantaricha. Simple shlok Gita which talks about leave everything which you touch, come back here, come home. Pranapanav samo krutva. Pranapana, you just look at them with the same equanimity. Samo krutva nasabhyantaricha. Just feel it up and down through your nose. Your mind is right here between the 2 eyebrows. And the third bell which says, remain at home, remain with the breath. And when that happens, I'm going to take you to 2 different places, very close by. But you will experience something if you just let my voice guide you. Just let my voice guide you and remain aware of the breath. And then you will experience it. And then just have to take note of things. Just what's happening inside you, what kind of thoughts you have, what kind of feelings you have, what kind of emotions are passing through the mind, what kind of images trail through your mind, what kind of intentions and impulses you get at that point of time. In both situations. So get ready, hear the 3 bells. It's a guided experience. So I'll be speaking to you, but you close your eyes and experience and be with me, be with my voice and follow the guide. So the first bell, listen to the vibrations till it trails. Come home. You are here and now. You are here and now. You're at home now. Second bell, if there is someone unmuted, please mute everyone so that there is no disturbance for him. Host, please mute everyone. Experience your breath in and out, gently breathing in and breathing out. Gently breathing in and breathing out. Gently breathing in. And now you remain with your breath. Hear my voice and just carry on. You are focused on the breath. The breath is very gentle. smooth and easy, your feet firmly on the ground, and your mind follows my voice. You find yourself in thick of a traffic. चारों ओर से ट्रैफिक है, गाड़ियां हैं, ट्रक्स, बसेस, मोटरसाइकिल्स है, साइकिल्स है, लोग हैं. बिजी जंक्शन है कोई भी शहर का. कड़ी धूप है, या आप गाड़ी में बैठे हैं या चला रहे हैं, इर्द गिर्द देख रहे हैं, लुकिंग अराउंड एंड यू सी पीपल. आवाज सुन रही हैं आप, हॉर्न्स, people talking, people want to start their cars or engines, and there's noise around, and you experience that noise, the heat, the temperature, the people, and as you experience it, you feel it in your body. You feel the muscles of your forehead, muscles of your hand, your fingers, and you are aware of kind of thoughts which are there in your mind, kind of thing that you want to do. As you look around, you look at people's faces, you feel their faces, look at their brows, their foreheads, creased foreheads, and the honking. What kind of feelings are there in your mind? What kind of impulses you are getting? What is the feel that you have as you experience the traffic? Note everything. हर चीज का नोट कर लीजिए कि क्या हो रहा है दिमाग के अंदर, क्या सोच रहे हैं, किस तरह की इमोशंस है आपके मन में, कौन सी भावना मन में है, क्या सुन रहे हैं, से मन में क्या महसूस हो रहा है, शरीर में क्या महसूस, हड्डियों में, मांसपेशियों में, जोड़ों में क्या महसूस कर. Everything. As you experience everything, take note of the experience of being in the thick of the traffic. Take note of everything. Now I'm going to take you away from this situation. यहाँ से हम बाहर निकलने वाले हैं, किसी और जगह जाने वाले हैं. I'll ring a bell and then you will be able to fade out the scene very easy. अपने आप ये वहां से आप निकल जाएंगे. आप उसी ट्रैफिक से कहीं पास में हैं, लेकिन आप एक ऊंची इमारत में हैं. You are in a tall building. ऊपर से आप देख रहे हैं ट्रैफिक को, नीचे देख रहे हैं गाड़ियां हैं, ट्रक्स है, बसेस है, सिग्नल रुकाती है, शुरू हो जाती है. The trucks, the buses, cars, you can identify them. What kind of truck is this? Old, new? Is this a new model of the car? Which car is this? Motorcycle, cycle, log, signal green, signal red. रुकते हैं, शुरू हो जाए. And you are looking at them far away. You cannot hear them, just looking at them from distance, from height. And as you look down on them, you can identify what's there in the truck as you are far away from it. Now, at this point of time, experience what emotions आपके मन में है, कौन सी feelings है आपके मन, क्या विचार है आपके मन में, क्या आप सोच रहे हैं? कौन से विचार आ रहे हैं? नोट कर लीजिए इनको. And when the bell goes, this scene will also fade out slowly. This scene will fade out slowly, and you'll come back here. You have taken note of everything. The bell goes, and with the bell, you'll take deep, long breaths, nice, deep breaths, and out. Long, deep breaths, long, deep breaths. Feel your palms, rub your palms, warm up your hands, your palms, warm up your face, your forehead, eyebrows, jawline, ears, nose. Look at your hands. Long, deep breath. And breathe out. And breathe in. As you are now again at home, you are always at home. Your mind had gone elsewhere, is coming back. A different kind of story. I would like to hear some responses of what kind of experience from people. Can people just unmute and say a few words? You can start your camera also, video also, so I can see your face. Quickly, we'll have a round of responses from quickly.
When I was in the traffic, I was
Yes.
agitated. I was
Yeah.
agitated and
can you
irritated.
switch on the video, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
When I was
Yeah.
when I was in the traffic, that time
Yeah.
I was very irritated and
Mhm.
getting agitated and wondering when I can get out of it. And
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I was sort of full of that situation and the tension was building up. I could see that,
Yes. Yes.
my leg is on the brake and I'm just waiting. But when I went to the building and I was seeing, then I became a little bit like an observer. I became a little curious. I was thinking, oh, from where these people are coming? Where are they going? What may be there in the truck? Why are they having to travel so much at this time?
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Very good. And that was a different experience. Your body was relaxed. You were looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay. You used a very, very interesting word. I'm going to give a very nice word for that. A few nice words for that. Okay. Anyone else wants to say something? Anyone else wants to say something, please?
Well, actually,
Yes, please.
when we started from the traffic,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I could just feel the intensity that we go through every day. The sometimes it's the positive energy that comes into when we are in the crowd, when we are meeting the people, when we are seeing their faces, and
Yes.
sometimes sometimes it is draining you from inside. You have to reach
Mhm.
somewhere, you're stuck somewhere, and finally when you reach at the top of the building, and all I could see was that it was peaceful, and I could see the city traffic. It was far away from me, and I couldn't hear that, but I could see that, and for me that was a beautiful sight. I wouldn't say that it looked some sort of it was ugly because I was there. Now I am here, but it was beautiful sight for me.
Okay, good, good. And did you see the vehicles moving then?
Yeah, yes, I could
That's
see
a
them
very
move.
important thing. You saw. Thank you, Nahib Haider. Okay. Thank you very much. I want to give you a couple of words for this. Actually, what happened is that when you are in the thick of things, you experience it in the body. And this is how the stress immediately switched on. Wherever you are, think about it. You don't have to be there. This is known as, this is a perceived stress. This is not actual stress. You are not in the traffic. You will just imagine yourself in the traffic. And just by imagination, you experience the stress in the body, the tightness in the muscles, the way you are holding the, steering or wherever you are in the legs and everywhere. This is only a perceived stress. This is no actual stress. This is what you perceived inside your head. There was no traffic actually. And the second time, yeah. Anyone else wants to say? Okay, I'll continue. Second time, when we are looking at the traffic, as very beautifully said by him, it was a different sight, and you didn't feel that stress. Actually, you were at home, you were here, but it's all perception of your mind. In that perception, the two perceptions were different. However, the second one is very important. The second one is what is known as witnessing a situation. What did you do is you observe. You were not participant. You observe. And very beautifully said she said very beautifully, what are they doing? What are they doing? Where are they going? What is up to them? So it was just not observing, like distant, as if you're disconnected with it, but you were observing with curiosity, and that curiosity was friendly curiosity. It was friendly. You were looking at them and wondering, what is it? You were witnessing it, and you were a friendly witness. You are not an indifferent witness. You are a friendly witness. And you witnessed what is happening in the traffic. As he said very rightly, you saw the movement. Seeing that movement is very important. Because that friendly curiosity, you saw the movement. And when you were stuck, you didn't see the movement because there was no movement as if. But moment you become aware, moment you are distant, and you are, very important word, you are friendly curious, not angrily curious, not criticizing, not judgmental, friendly curious. What did you see? You observed the movement. And that's exactly what is very important, is this being able to create that sense of friendly curiosity and being able to see the movement. And what you saw the movement of your own thoughts. You saw the movement of your own emotions as they rise and move away, rise and move away. Very, very important that you saw them moving. And this movement, to see this movement is the real thing. Because then you see the dynamism of life. That it rises and falls and fades away, that it comes in and fades away. The thoughts, the experiences, everything, they rise and fade away. They constantly move. When we are stuck, when we are under stress, we are aware of our body, but we are not aware of our body in a friendly, curious way. Either we are frightened, oh my God, what's happening to me? Or you are irritated with yourself. Like he said, I was irritated. I was irritated. I was not observing. I was not witnessing. There's no friendly curiosity. I just experienced the stress in my body. And very important. And now This is now the samurai story. When you start witnessing, when we are friendly, curious about what's happening outside, you are also friendly, curious about what's happening inside. And very simple. The old vehicles moved very slowly and the new vehicles were moved very fast. So are our thoughts. So are our emotions. We carry old emotions. We carry old thoughts. We carry a lot of residues, which is very difficult for us to move. It moves, but moves very slow. It feels stuck. And when you focus on that stuck emotion, when you focus on the stuck thought, ये जाता क्यों नहीं है मेरे मन से, ये विचार अटकेला क्यों है, ये क्यों यहाँ पड़ा है, ये क्या कर रहा है अंदर, because it doesn't seem to move. It moves very slowly. The old trucks, old vehicles move slowly. Well, the new ones which you like seem to pass very quickly. And that is a very interesting part of the human mind. The old thoughts, the stuck emotions, the residual emotions. We say that when you look at the traffic from distance, you are friendly, curious, and now you'll be aware of all the unhappy things that happened inside. They were still there, moved very slow. I'm going to introduce two very important words. The unhappy feelings, the sad feelings, the old feelings of anger, vengeance, revengefulness, feeling of destruction, feeling of negativity towards self or whatever, or sad feeling of loss, whatever it may be, they have what is known as a Velcro feeling. Velcro आपने सबने use किया है. It just sticks and it can't difficult. You know, you put it on your shoes also these days. Velcro. It just stucks. Both sides stuck. And all these residues of emotions which are unhappy, they have Velcro effect. They seem to be stuck with you. And all the beautiful, nice, happy feelings have a Teflon coating. Just go away. You can't hold them. Well, these ones which you don't want have a Velcro effect. So the story of human life today, the COVID, and this is the wandering mind. Mind which wanders, keeps on wandering around, future, past or the future. It's never here and now. It's not here. It's always wandering. And I don't blame my mind for that. You know? I don't blame my mind. बेचारा दिल क्या करे, बेचारा दिमाग क्या करे, बहुत insecure है ये. Like, you know why our mind is wandering? Be very nice and gentle and kind to yourself when you are at home. Be gentle, be full of karuna, be full of compassion towards self. Understand why mind is wandering. Don't be angry and upset with yourself. That is that meta-awareness Zen Guru talked about. If you are unhappy, know that you are unhappy. What happens to us? If we are unhappy, we become more unhappy because we ask a question, why am I unhappy? Why am I unhappy? Why am I unhappy? I am unhappy, or uske upar bhi aur bhi unhappy. Why I am sad? Why I am sad? If I am sad, why I am sad? If I am anxious, why am I anxious? If I am depressed, why am I depressed? I am depressed, and I am depressed that I am depressed. I am anxious that I am anxious. I am angry that I am angry. I am upset that I am upset. This is what happens to us. Because the brain has not learned to feel the security. Why the mind does that? Two reasons. Number one, mind requires training. We carry with untrained mind. And if you, I think some of you are vocational teachers, and what you're actually doing is you're training the brain, you're training the hands. It's like you trained your first time when I learned driving, my instructor was 10वीं पास भी नहीं हुआ था शायद, अच्छा लड़का था, राजू भाई. Yeah. He made a beautiful statement. He said, डॉक्टर साहब, आपका है ना, आपके पैर ने नहीं सीखा है गाड़ी चलाना, आपने यहाँ सीखा है, आपके पैर ने नहीं सिखाया. जब तक आपके पैर नहीं सीखते तब तक आप गाड़ी नहीं चला सकेंगे. मैं देख रहा हूँ आपके पैर बड़े चंचल है, या तो घुस जाते हैं जोर से, या तो एकदम से छोड़ देते हैं क्लच को, या दबा के रखते हैं. आपको पता नहीं चलता कि एक्सीलरेटर है, ब्रेक है, कैसा फील है. कहाँ रखना. आपके पाँव बड़े चंचल है. मैंने बोला मेरा पाँव नहीं, मेरा दिमाग भी बहुत चंचल है. Because my body has to learn. So body requires training, mind requires training. That's why it is not stable at one place. नहीं होता है, नहीं हो सकता, उसको सिखाना पड़ता है, सीखना ही पड़ता है. Some people are born with that. Some people, everyone is not Lata Mangeshkar. Everybody is not Sachin Tendulkar. Everybody is not that. We have to learn. They had also to learn. That also says that I have to do riyaz all the time. So train, it's an untrained mind, which requires training, and this is training. Reason number one is that it's untrained mind. Second reason is because we are the most helpless creatures on this planet Earth. Most helpless. Even a small ant can bite and sting and distract you completely. A mosquito does not even weigh 1 gram. The coronavirus, which is invisible, can make our life visible. ना हम सूंघ सकते हैं कुत्ते की तरह, ना हम देख सकते हैं ईगल की तरह, ना हम भाग सकते हैं हिरन की तरह, ना हमारे दांत मजबूत हैं एक शेर की तरह, ना हम बड़े हैं कहीं हाथी की तरह. कुछ नहीं है हमारे पास, सिर्फ दिमाग है. तो ये दिमाग जो है ना, कुदरत ने ऐसे बनाया, वो हमेशा ढूंढते रहता है कहाँ से आएगा. The enemy can strike from anywhere. See, we are carrying the brain which is manufactured, the model manufactured and perfected for a forager, for someone who lived in jungle, someone who lived in forest, someone who had to go in the field and work. This was engineered, manufactured for that, not manufactured to sit in one place. Yeah, I know, but this is the most fertile thing in the body, human body, is the brain, which can create things. No other animal can imagine things. No other animal can plan things. If they plan, it is automatic. The honeybees plan, बेचारे, और हम छीन लेते हैं उनके, सब निकाल लेते हैं. So they cannot, they biologically plan. We have to imagination में plan. That's why we have tamed. That's why we understand nature much better. Perhaps can plan it. So we build dams, electricity, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. Technology. But this is only 200-300 years story, my dear friends. The mobile can come up with a new model. Cars will come with new model, but brain ka model abhi tak change nahi hua. We have to learn to live with this kind of brain, which requires, that is why it requires tremendous amount of training. But it is possible to train. It is possible. Very, very famous thinker, and what should I call him? Educationist. Noam Chomsky said our brain is like a computer, in the sense it has got so many systems. There are so many things inbuilt, embedded systems. But you have to start them. You have to load them in information. You have to train, process them so they learn language. They learn everything. This is how the brain works. It requires training, training, and training. And if training is not enough, retraining, retraining, retraining. So constantly, when you are at home, when your mind is here, you train yourself to come home, to be here. That is why the mind wanders. समझ लो ये चीज, और इसको अगर कुछ ट्रेन करना है तो बहुत प्यार से करना है, प्यार से करना है, not with छड़ी, not with a stick, not by beating, by criticizing, by judgment. ये मेरा दिमाग ही साला ऐसा, सॉरी, मेरा दिमाग ही ऐसा है, ये कुछ सीखता ही नहीं है, गधा है, गधा. मैं ना पहले से सी that I want to make more efforts to learn. Be gentle with yourself. Like you're gentle with a child, gentle with a puppy which doesn't know where to pee and poo. To train it, to train our own mind. And whatever we are doing right now is training the mind. We are training the mind. And we train the mind, we learn to handle it, manage it. And when we learn to manage it, we are actually empowering it, which are making it stronger, more capable. And if there's no other time in the world now, there's no other time in which second or the First World War, second world, we haven't lived through that. We have not seen it. We have never seen such horrendous calamity in the world. We have seen tsunamis also, we have seen earthquakes, but we have never seen anything of this kind that COVID is. We've never seen it. This is the time that we need to train ourselves. Now, what training we want? Training to be resilient. Training to be resilient. Training to come back. Training to bounce back to life. So that we don't forget the lessons which we have learned in the past. So we relearn them, revise them, and we learn new techniques. And we don't fight with the old system. We take on the new system. मैं तो 40 साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ. तो पहले जमाने में मैं ये कहता था कि लोगों के पास वो 90 मिनट का कैसे, तो मैं ये एग्जांपल देता था कि भाई आपके पास कोई गाना है, आपके कोई नया, आपको मैंने बहुत सुने हैं, किशोर कुमार के बहुत पहले गाने सुने हैं, अभी नए चाहिए मुझे, मतलब पुराने नहीं लेकिन नए तरीके से. तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, ये कि सर से करवा लो तो पुराना निकल जाता है. So we don't want to get rid of the old habits. We want to create new habits. And very important about habits, which is very important part of the story of this resilience, is creating new habit. And the new habit is very important because we can't, it's very old habits are very difficult to extinguish. निकलते नहीं हैं दिमाग से, वहीं बैठ जाते हैं, निकलते नहीं, वहीं रहते, छोड़ नहीं देते हम लोग. Just catch them, hold them. So we learn new habits we can learn. And how do we learn new habits? By stop bothering about the old habits. They will pass. They will pass. When you learn new habits, old habits pass. So first thing in resilience is know what is resilience, coming back. And we require resilience every day. ऐसा नहीं थोड़ी कि रोज की कोविड है कहीं ना कहीं, रोज तो डर है किसी ना किसी चीज का. स्ट्रेस तो रोज की बात है, अभी तो बहुत बड़े हो गए. मैं कहता हूँ कि मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम्स, मेनी पीपल आस्क मी ये कि नई चीज, ऐसे नहीं बेटा. पहले तो जमाने में फॉन्ट साइज उनका 10-12 था, अभी 72 हो गया है और कुछ नहीं हुआ है. बोल्ड कुछ नहीं हुआ है. पहले भी थे, अभी भी है, but there it is. So we have to be aware of this. The first thing is that we need to learn skills of resilience. And when we come home, it's very nice that Deepa has given that it is coming home. Be at home and do what? Coming back home for, why do we come home at night after working? Because we want to bounce back. We want to be resilient. We want to face the next day. So we rest, play with kids, watch some stupid movies also, just to entertain ourselves, or do something new, different, learn new things, just sit and chat, just meditate, get into some nice habits that you have. We require resilience for every day. Every day, now you require a little more of it. Not really, require बहुत ज्यादा चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसे नहीं कि पहले चाहिए नहीं था, पहले भी चाहिए था, अभी भी चाहिए, और चाहिए, और कुछ बहुत ही और चाहिए. So we require this resilience and we require this rejuvenation every day. So to do that, be at home. So when people ask me, कि आप psychiatrist हो, घर में मैं psychiatrist, still then I was a human being and I'll continue to be a human being. So if I want to relax, I stop being a psychiatrist. I just being human. I just, when my kids were with us, I just chatted with them. थोड़ा थोड़ी गुस्सा भी back का important. So to learn resilience, my first step is to know ये wandering mind है, इसको train करना है. Wandering mind stuck हो जाता है, old habits है, निकलती नहीं है, तो उनको train करना है mind. और ये wandering है क्योंकि उसकी आदत है, नया सीखा नहीं है अभी तक, सिखाना पड़ता है to learn it. And it is possible to learn it. We have learned so many things. My body learned so many things. Your body has learned so many things. Nobody is born with all the skills. No, all skills have to be with. Secondly, do it with a lot of friendship and love, affection, acceptance, unconditional acceptance of what we are. And they know that training is very important. Because ये velcro है ना, वो चिपक जाता है, निकलता नहीं है. So training is very important. We have to train ourselves. And this is what we are doing, creating this training, to become aware, to know, gently, lovingly, loving kindness. And who is your guide? You are your own guide. My words will remain with you, or words of wisdom will remain. Maybe a few words that I have spoken today, maybe a few words which we have heard in some songs, some sermon, कहीं picture में देखा होगा, गाने सुने होंगे, उसी से चलता है, कहीं से भी सीख. So the words of wisdom can come from anywhere. Bala the Bhashitani Grahya. So when the child can speak, they give great ideas. So absorb them. And to do that, we need to be aware of what's around.